Happy Valentine's Day, everybody. Great to see you here. We're not here to celebrate Valentine's Day as much as I appreciate being reminded of it because I need that kind of help. But we're here more importantly to honor excellence, to honor valor and service beyond the call today by members of the fire department and police department. And we're proud to have both of our, honestly, both of our chiefs here today, Fire Chief Mike Gomes, as well as Police Chief Joe Cordero, as well as the Deputy Chief Paul Cordier and Paul Oliveira. And we are recognizing terrific work, really terrific work that was done in response to a tragic fire on January 17th on Tinkham Street in the North End, 282 Tinkham Street to be exact. And I think a lot of folks have read about what transpired that day in the middle of the night, 1:45 a.m. to be exact, in the middle of the week. And in many ways, this is one of the problems that we struggle with as a community over the time is in dealing with emergencies in our tenement housing. We have a large stock still of tenement housing that was built during the height of the textile period in the city, and although that the neighborhoods in which much of this housing exists continue to function in the same way, in the sense that they're very closely knit, there are also places where we have special and unique challenges when it comes to both law enforcement as well as fire response, and this was an example of that. So just let me tell you a little bit about the narrative. But so it was on that night that our members of our police and fire departments responded to a report of a house fire, and so units were dispatched. It's a multifamily house that's very representative of that neighborhood. And the Bedford Fire Units 2 and Engine 8 were the first fire department units on the scene, and members of Engine 8 were directed to the first floor, which is the second story, by Nathan Pimentel of the Bedford Police Department, because there was a report of a female who was trapped inside that needed to be attended to. And so a search began involving Lieutenant Kurt Houghton and firefighters Kevin Sweet and Peter Katsoulis, who conducted a search and rescue mission for that missing woman. Now, they can tell you better than I what this sort of thing entails, which is going into the unknown under very difficult circumstances. And firefighters and police officers tell you that they don't know what the next day brings, they don't know what the next call brings. This is a perfect example of that. They don't get to choose whether to go forward, they just do. And sometimes that means, in this case, going right into the belly of a blaze. So within minutes, they forced open the door of the second floor bedroom and located the victim on the floor behind the door and carried her out of the building. And unfortunately, as we know, this woman that they rescued later succumbed to her injuries and died days later at Rhode Island Hospital. But they did everything they could beyond what anyone would expect to save her life. And I'm sure they, to a person, would tell you that they wish that she had survived. But she didn't. But we know that her family and others would be the first to tell you that these men deserve tremendous credit for the effort that they initiated in doing everything they could to save her. And so it is entirely appropriate that we recognize all of them for the work that they did. There was, and I'm going to go through everybody who's getting an award today, but there's another component to this. There are other folks who had ingested smoke at the scene, and they benefited from having our ambulances equipped with a special device that administers which is called I'm not going to pronounce the chemical compound because I'll butcher it. They're like 9 syllables here, but it's a kit known as a cyano kit, which treats severe smoke inhalation, and both in firefighters as well as civilians who require that treatment. And that was something that District Fire Chief Scott Kruger had initiated as a policy, as a measure to prevent further injury and even save lives, that was deployed in this particular event. So we wanted to honor District Chief Kruger today too for that very forward-thinking work that he did, that actually did make a difference in this particular case, and we presume will continue to make a difference as time goes on. We pride ourselves in New Bedford, in city government across the board, is striving for excellence, and that means you got to get better all the time at what you do. And this is a great example of something not coming from City Hall, not coming from the mayor's office, but coming right from the department itself, department leadership, and saying, you know what, we can be better at what we do if we have this thing, and so that's why we're honoring Scott today. Officer Pimentel, I will note, who was assigned to Unit 33, was the first New Bedford police officer on the scene, and he advised the responding units that there was indeed a working fire on the second floor location. Officer Pimentel was able to clear 3 males from the second floor, and these are the people who benefited from the cyano kit, and 3 females on the first floor, despite heavy smoke throughout the building. This was a real blaze, and a lot of lives could have been lost if it weren't for quick action and quick thinking. So I just want to say that before I call them up, that the city, on behalf of the city, we really appreciate what you guys have done and the way you've gone about your service. And this is all, we talk about service, we talk about honor, we talk about doing right by the community, and there's no better way to communicate those values than to actually honor actions taken in furtherance of them, and that's what we're doing here today. And I just, on behalf of the city, really wanted to thank all of you for making it happen. And I'm proud today, and I'm sure you're even more proud that your family members are here today to share it with you. And we thank all the family members for being supportive in the efforts of your loved ones and on behalf of our city. So with all that, let me I have some, I'll just ask the chiefs to come on up. In this case, I'll start with Officer Pimentel. Chief, you want to just come on up? So it says here, we'll go through each one. Officer Pimentel, in recognition of your outstanding valor and his heroic services to the city responding to the fire at 282 Tinkham Street on January 17th, 2018. Come on up. And then the same for Kurt Houghton. Chief, you want to come on up?
Kurt?
He's not, yeah. I think so. No, Kevin Sweet.
Kevin Sweet?
So you can see, I'll put Kevin on the spot. This is his 3rd decoration for valor, having done this. So this is not the first time he's been to the end zone. He has, and I think that's worth noting. He's not someone who rests on his laurels. And then Scott Kruger, for Scott, your initiative in making it possible that these folks who are suffering from smoke inhalation could recover. And you brought Show and tell whether that's it right
That's
there.
it right here. This is. I just bring it so I can keep saying it because I have to practice saying it. So I really want to recognize it. So that's why I carry it around. But.
Without that, I wanted to ask Brian Gomes on behalf of the City Council to say a few words. Brian.
Thank you very much, man. Linda Morad, the President of the City Council, could not be here this afternoon, but sends her regards. And we want to also honor all those that were responsible for the life-saving measures that evening. We have 250 or more police officers on the street. We have several hundred firefighters in the city of New Bedford. They are our heroes. They are heroes each and every day. Every call, they're a hero. On this night, the hero went beyond being a hero. It kicked in, and they took immediate action, and it was a life-saving measure that touched your heart. Today, I stand here as the chairman of Public Safety and very grateful to the men and women of the police department, our fire department, and the job that they do. And no one understands sometimes what these men and women go through, but it's a very tough job, and it changes from minute to minute, second to second. You have to respond. You have to go on your instincts. Officer Nathan Pimentel went on his instincts that night. His instincts were to go into that building and get those people. Part of his training, but I think part of it was him himself. They carry that within themselves. They know what their job is, and their job is about saving lives and doing what is good for a community, and each and every one of them did that. Lieutenant Scott Kruger, who I've known for a long time, know his dad, used to be basketball coach, mostly just impresses me. To put this initiative into effect and now have our EMS department be able to, and I'm not going to say the word either, Mayor. I tried. I stayed up late last night practicing. No way. It's not happening. To put this initiative in is going to save lives in the city of New Bedford, and that has to be recognized. And Scott, thank you very much for that initiative. To Officer Pimentel, you're a hero in the city of New Bedford, but you're surrounded by a couple of hundred and more of other heroes. But on that night, you did your job, and we thank you very much for that. To the firefighters who continue to go out there each and every day and walk into danger on a constant basis, not thinking about themselves, thinking about those that need them, thank you very much. Thank you very much for the opportunity to be here today to recognize these men for their contribution is one that's very rewarding to this city council and respected. And also to the men and women that are in the background that are part of that department. You're part of those heroes too. And we thank you each and every day for everything you do, and God bless you. Thank you for the opportunity, man.
Thank you, Councilor Gomes. I also want to thank the support also of Ward 5 Councilor Scott Lima, who is here today. Thank you, Councilor Lima, for being here and support. I wanted to call up both chiefs, so I'll start with Chief Cadero to say a few words. Chief.
Thank you, Mayor, and thank you everyone for being here and help us celebrate some true heroes. And I want to thank Fire Chief Gomes and the Bedford Fire Department for continued collaboration that we work very well together, and EMS as well. You can see how our efforts all come together, and we all play on the same team when it comes time. But as the police chief, I want to specifically speak really quickly about Officer Pimentel. He's been on the job a little less than 2 years. And on that day, and I want to say to his family, he is a hero. Your dad is a hero. On that day, when he's confronted with a fire bellowing with smoke and flames and without equipment or oxygen, without a moment's notice or even a thought, he ran into that building and was able to get 6 lives and a dog. And I was talking to him earlier when he ran in, he says he ran into a Rottweiler or some sizable dog that was barking at him, and took care of that situation quickly, got the dog out. 3 men out of the second floor, 3 more out of the first floor, and thankfully the fire department arrived with their training and their equipment. They were able to go up and get that female out of second floor, who I know personally. She grew up on my block, and I'm still very good friends with her brother. And I can tell you, as the mayor was saying, the family is very grateful for the efforts that were taken that day by the fire department and us as well. But to Officer Pimentel, you exemplify and you resemble what we've come to expect from our police officers: excellence, courage, and heroic efforts. I thank you, and I have today, if you would just come up for you, I'd like to present to you our life-saving award, because on that day, you clearly saved at least 6 lives. So if you allow me, just pin this on you. Thank you very much, and again, congratulations, and we appreciate your work, and we know you got at least another 30 years with us, and we expect a lot more. Thank you.
Chief Gomes.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. And again, we have these brave men and women that protect our community on a daily basis. Amazing things happen every single day. We only recognize a very small portion of the things that go on every single day in our community. Our members are out there in the field with hands on in the public, trying to save lives each and every day. As far as, fires are concerned, this didn't grow to a 3 or 4 alarm fire. Oftentimes, our most fatal fires are those that don't grow to enormous size. In this case, all the members involved in a coordinated action went in, did what the best they could do with the resources that they had, and were very successful. Unfortunately, there was a life lost in this circumstance, but because of the efforts of one of the members that are also standing up here today, she had a fighting chance. We had a new tool in our toolbox with which to give people a second chance that they might not have had otherwise. And so, again, I also want to thank District Chief Kruger for his dogged pursuit, because it took over a year going through medical and other channels in order to get this going forward. And he would come in my office and just say, well, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, keep going. And he was successful in that. And we're very thankful for that, because some of the people that are most affected by smoke inhalation on fire scenes are firefighters. And we get poisoning from cyanide, and we need the hydroxycobalamin, because I have been practicing. And it has been used effectively in Providence to treat a number of firefighters from serious fires that have occurred there. And so it is a tool in the toolbox, not only for the citizens of the city of New Bedford, but also for the members of our department. So again, I want to recognize all those here. Again, job well done, but they'll tell you they were just doing their job. And what they do every single day out there is amazing, and I want to thank them for what they do.
Again, I just want to say thank you for what you've done, and it's great that you have been able to experience this with family members, because you certainly deserve it. And I want to thank both chiefs for their leadership and their very appropriate and timely remarks. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Hard, what's this?
That's my resignation. You're resigning.
Why? You've been putting me under a lot of pressure lately. That's why I'm ready to quit.
Oh, I forgot. I'll do better. Please don't quit on me.
Don't let your heart quit on you. Get your uncontrolled high blood pressure to a healthy range before it's too late.